following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Hey everyone, and welcome to 50 Shades of Bullshit. I'm your host, Christine Lalonde, and this is the podcast where we uncover the truth about online dating. Now let's begin.
Hey, hello everyone. This is Christine.
I'm Jaida.
I'm Janice. Hello.
And this is 50 Shades of Bullshit. So good morning. We are actually pre-recording this episode. We couldn't do it on our regular, live broadcast. So it will be broadcasted, this Thursday, but we're doing it in the morning and I'm not quite sure I'm prepared for this.
Oh, it's not that early.
Well, my daughter and I had a debate yesterday about whether I'm a morning person or not. And I said, I am not. And she said, yes, you are. And I said, just because I can get my ass up and be responsible doesn't mean I'm a morning person.
Yeah, I'd have to say I've stayed with you now several times. And you like to sleep in. I'm like the type that even on the weekends, I'm probably up by 7:30 or 8. And happily, but yeah, you like to sleep in. I'll say that's true of you.
Yeah, I don't like getting out of bed in the morning. So, but I had to get up really early this morning because I had to take my daughter to the orthodontist before anything. And what happened is my computer decided not to hold a charge and not turn on. So I had to rush to Pasadena, do the dental appointment, come back, take my computer to the computer store and see if they could jiggy rig it to get it to work for today. Wow. So here we are. So hopefully it doesn't die on me again. If I disappear, keep going.
That is a lot before 11 a.m. I agree with you. That is a lot to go.
It's a lot. And it was really stressful. That high anxiety you feel deep in the pit of your stomach and between your shoulder blades when you're like, I'm not going to get on.
Well, not my computer. I will say that probably hasn't happened at all since I got my new MacBook. But I used to have a really old one. And yeah, I would be the one all the time who couldn't get on when we were in a live event or something. So.
Oh, it's awful. So how have you guys been this week? I'd love to hear how your week has been.
Well, I'll jump in. I was in Aspen last week for my birthday, and that was really fun.
Happy birthday to Janice.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we had a blast. It was great. It was just everything that I would want out of a birthday trip, including like cowboy stuff and dive bars and Wild West history and good food, good sex.
That's awesome. Good sex. That's the best part.
Yes. I actually had a consult with someone who I'm going to be doing some work with last week. And she asked me, what would you like to get out of this trip? Because she knew I was going with my partner. And I said, I really just want to have a lot of sex.
Yeah, that's my daily goal. Thank you very much.
Janice, your pictures look great. You guys look like you had so much fun. You looked so happy. You were glowing. So
thank you.
It looked like you had a really good time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. What about you, Jaida? How's life been for you this week? What's anything happening?
No, it's only Tuesday.
Oh, come on.
Nope, nothing so far. I got nothing.
How about in the last week? Sex?
Yeah, Jaida.
Work has just been really busy. Life and work, but it's been good.
Well, today's episode, we're actually talking about how kinky are you? And I want to know how kinky you guys think you are. We all took a kink test online. I thought it was kind of a weird it didn't quite go the way I thought it would go.
I thought it was great.
I thought that the questions were kind of weirdly one-sided. It asked some strange things, like it would ask, if I like something, and I'd think, well, I'd like if it was done to me, not me doing it to somebody else, but it never flipped the question around. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of the questions, but it was funny and we had a good laugh. So we're going to talk about that today. So Jaida, let's start with you. How kinky do you think you are? How do you think you are? Like, do you think that you are like a dominatrix? Do you like to be submissive? Do you think you like all wild things? Or do you think that you're just, just a normal, basic, like sex and, next? Oh, you're glitching.
I do like sex. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're just glitching for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Jada's glitching pretty
would say I'm much more submissive.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm gonna wait. Should I get off and get back on?
Yeah, we'll go to Janice and then you'll have you pop back in. So Janice.
Okay.
You naughty, naughty girl.
I am naughty. Yes, I will own that.
I like being naughty too, so it's all good.
Yep.
So before you took the test, what do you think your areas of kink were?
I mean, I already know. I am definitely a submissive, as I think all three of us are. I love being dominated in bed quite a bit. And like, I would say probably more than like my female friends that who I've talked to about this have admitted, at least. And I have had several partners who I kind of introduced this to, whose minds were kind of blown, and who had actually told me, despite being sexually experienced, that they had not really played with that before. And so that's been fun. So I will say that it's like a really, it's almost more of a fetish than a kink, in that I really want it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, and also rope play is something I really, really enjoy. Being like physically controlled is something I like. At the same time, I used to be involved with a very sex positive community when I was in Australia, and would go to orgies and sex parties and all of that. And I was exposed to things that I would say were a lot kinkier than stuff that I get into. So, I mean, it's a bit relative, I suppose. Depending on other people's backgrounds.
Well, Janice was filling us in, Jaida, about all of her kinky ways. I'm on the same page as you. I'm trying to find the stupid kink thing that I sent you guys. I am like you. I like being more submissive. I like the man to be in control. I like how the use of ribbons and ropes are brought in. We keep losing Jaida this morning. Ribbons and ropes being brought in, and I like being an exhibitionist. I like being with the edge of being possibly caught or seen. And I, in the past, have also gone to, sex clubs. I've talked about that in the past on the show, about sex clubs, and having my mind open to some other things, like, just watching or being watched, which is really kind of exciting. It gives this really kind of edge to it. I
have a little bit of voyeur in me. Let's see. Actually, you know what? I was surprised. I was only 29% voyeuristic, which I guess I was a little surprised by, because I have in the past enjoyed being watched. But yeah.
What was your percentage? 29?
Yeah, for voyeuristic.
Yeah. Mine is 57. But you know what's funny is that I don't really know what the difference between voyeurism and exhibitionist is, because I'm 85% exhibitionist.
Yeah, and I was 75% exhibitionists.
So
I will say I don't really get off as much watching people as being watched. And so I think that that's what it is that you really get off on watching people. I wouldn't say that's that exciting for me.
It's the opposite for me.
Yes,
that's why I didn't like this test very much, because it was weirdly leading questions that made me more of an exhibitionist than a voyeur, but I'm more of a voyeur than an exhibitionist.
So you want to watch?
No. What's the difference?
You want to be watched.
Is you want to be watched, and you like things
watch
done
me,
in
baby. Watch.
Yes. So, I actually think that's spot on for you, and myself as well. Like, I don't even really watch porn that often. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've had experiences where I've been watched, and I will say that when it comes to fantasies and like things that I think about when I self-pleasure, it is often people watching me or some really some dirty
what about you, Jaida? Have you ever had that kind of position where you've actually been like to sex clubs or something where you've watched or been watched, or do you enjoy that type of thing?
First of all, can you guys hear me and see me okay?
Yeah, better.
Okay. No, I have not. I think when I did this quiz, I in my mind feel like I am the porn star of porn stars. But when I did this quiz, I was like, I am not as kinkified as I thought I was. But I have not been to clubs. I mean, I've been to strip clubs. Who hasn't? But as far as like swingers clubs or those types of things, no. For me, sexually, I think I'm much more submissive. That's where I ranked highest. Which I just like it. I like to be dominated a little bit. I like a take charge, like tell me what to do kind of thing. That's just my vibe. But like I said, I thought I was much more kinky until I did that quiz. And then looking at your scores, I'm like, damn, I am much more vanilla than what I
Look, there's nothing wrong with that. You like what you like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was a big, list of things that were kinky, like rope, bunny, submissive, exhibitionist, vanilla, masochist, switch, non-monogamous, which I didn't think that was even a kink. I just thought that was just something you prefer.
Yeah. Like, have you ever heard of like hot mom kink or cuck holding? That would definitely fall into what they're considering to be non-monogamous.
Oh,
kink.
see, to me, that doesn't feel non-monogamous if you're in a relationship and you're going and that's a kink. It's not something that you're doing every day. Like non-monogamous to me is in a a poly relationship. Well, even a polygamous relationship.
I don't agree with their terminology of it, but I did also find that interesting with you that you could see yourself sharing or swinging a little.
Well, in the past, when I would go to clubs, I had a boyfriend, and he liked. Oh, here we are really giving it this morning. He liked to share me, but him not share with other women. So he was monogamous to me. He liked to be in control of the situation that I was in. And what the fuck is going on with our computer thing today? It is like pissing me off. It's like a ghost in the goddamn machine. We're jumping all over the place. We're playing musical goddamn chairs this morning.
I think it's kind of fun. Go ahead.
So, he liked to share me. I liked being shared. But he did not participate with other women at all.
Yeah, I was having a conversation about a cuckolding fantasy with my partner a couple months ago, and he was, telling me what he wanted to do and like how he wanted to set me up with someone, but he would have to choose. And I was getting into it, but then I had the same experience as you of being like, oh, but does that mean that maybe he would want to do the reverse? Because I don't think I'd get into that at all.
No, I set the boundaries right from the beginning. If somebody is interested in that kind of thing, I tell them right from the beginning, look, I actually enjoy being shared or being cuckolded or have this, kind of I don't know how to say it, situation where you're sharing me. But I'm a selfish bitch, and I do not share well with others. So you can't be into that. And I've just gotten lucky where I have found most of the men I like that as well. Ones who get upset and are like, but you are selfish and
Yeah.
I have to have other women. Those are not for me. Those
Mhm.
those men are not for me at all.
I have
Um,
shared a male partner before when I was more in the poly scene, and I've had sex, like group sex, where it was me and multiple women and him, but it wasn't really someone who I had the type of like intimacy that I do with my current partner, you know?
right. Yeah. If it like I've of course done a threesome with a girl and a guy, and he set it up and blah blah blah. It was fine. And I didn't love it because I think women are beautiful. I think they have sexy bodies, and I don't mind it if a woman touches or does things to me, but I don't really like doing those things to women. So for me, it really wasn't that enjoyable. Plus, I wasn't in a relationship with the guy. So it makes a big difference, you know?
Yeah, yep,
Um,
same.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
actually noticing now that like swinging or going both ways with like the same sex or opposite sex wasn't actually on here at all, which is kind of interesting.
Exactly. So the test for me really wasn't all that, you
I
know.
would give it to people. I thought it was really cool, but yeah, not
It
without its
is,
flaws.
well, yeah, it definitely had its flaws. It was bdsm.org. So if anybody wants to take this test, it's bdsm.org.
I mean, it's so
Um,
comprehensive. I mean, there must be like 30 different kinks on here that they rate you for.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would love to know what were on the bottom of your guys' scores.
My bottom. Let's see.
Everything. Just kidding.
Like under, yeah. I mean, maybe what were like the lowest five?
The lowest for me was masochist, boy, girl, degrader, age player, daddy, mommy, pet, brat
Oh,
tamer.
oh,
Those were the lowest.
that's so interesting. And those were some of my top ones.
Mine too.
Those were some of my top ones.
Let's see. My lowest one was age player.
Okay.
I don't even know what that means. What is age player?
I don't know what that means either. I was actually going to ask the both of you.
Yeah, I guess having, like pretending that you're younger or having extremes in age.
Oh, I have extremes in age because I've always dated a lot younger than me, but it didn't really rate it in that way. Degradee is my second to last. I do not like being degraded. I don't like to degrade others. Boy, girl, I don't know what that is either.
Yeah, well, this is what we were talking about in our text thread yesterday is, yeah, like being told that you're a good girl, acting like a good girl, you know?
I've had it. I mean, I've been with men who want me to call them daddy,
Yeah.
and they call me good girl, whatever, and it's fine. I just don't get off on it. So I'll do it for other people, but it's not my thing. Mommy, daddy, that's also on my lowest, and pet. Oh hell no! I'm not
No.
acting like a pet.
Absolutely
and I'm
not.
not gonna be. No.
I would be
No.
so embarrassed. Like I would never be able to like.
Can you imagine? Meow.
People
No.
really into
No.
it. People,
No.
there's the whole fluffy thing, furry thing. That's a kink for a lot of people. To
It
dress
is.
up like animals.
Dressing up like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Teach their own.
Yeah. I'm not. Look, I do not care if somebody else has a fetish or there's certain things that they really like. I'm all about it. You do you. You do you, boo. But me, some of it I'm just not into. Like I know I've talked on the show before in the past. We had a past episode where I said that I told about this date. The guy asked me if I would give his dog head and if he could watch me have sex with his dog.
I remember that.
I was
And
not on that one.
that was horrible. It kept. I was like gagging, and I was like envisioning it, and I was like, you gotta go. This date is over. Bye bye.
That is crazy. Wow.
Someone asked if I could pee in their mouth, and I'm not. It's not my thing. I just did a TikTok video about that recently. Yeah, not my thing. I don't want to make someone feel bad for it. Except for the guy who asked me to have sex with his dog. I told him to get the fuck out of my house.
It's valid. I mean, that's going into illegal territory there. I mean,
yeah.
isn't it?
So I looked up the differences between kink and fetish because I really was interested to know, because a lot of things, are kinky, like swings. I would definitely do a swing. My boyfriend and I have been talking about a swing for a long time. We use ribbon and rope, and we, use sex toys and things like that. I think those are kinks. Fetishes is where I think I've been with guys who like feet and they're really into my feet. So, I have pretty feet.
I'm always dry.
Right. So I was looking it up, and I'm gonna say what this tells us. It's it's called bellisaboutique.com.
Oh, I have some toys from there.
Yeah. So it says kink. It says the exact definition of a kink, according to the Webster Dictionary, is unconventional sex tastes or behaviors. Of course, the term unconventional is subjective. A man's ball gag and whip me is another man's can we try doggy style. So they're saying that there's for the most part, people consider unconventional to mean using props or other body parts or non-sexual activity, incorporating them like, say, whips, ropes, costumes, leather, spanking, handcuffs, foot play. Those are all considered kinky. Here's an example. If your partner is asking you to spank them during sex and you do, you're engaging in a kinky behavior. You may love doing it, but it's not the spanking that gets you off. It's the person you're spanking and their enjoyment of it as well. Furthermore, if you have sex without spanking taking place, no matter how much you love it, that's another sign that you're simply down to kink as opposed to a fetish.
Where you kind of require it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, a fetish is, to the Webster Dictionary again, is an object or bodily part whose real or fantasized presence is psychologically necessary for sexual gratification. That is an object of fixation to the extent that it may interfere with complete sexual expression. So it's something that you are requiring, not just something that, is added or have fun or whatever. So I think I understand that difference now. Now, some kinky items may be a fetish if it's something that's required for completion or for someone, to get excited or to get off. So I found that interesting because I really did not know the difference.
Do you guys, do you both have the conversation about your sex life, like what you prefer, what you like, how you are early in the beginning, or do you just show up and be like, bam, this is who I am?
This is such a good question, and it's come up so much, and it was also part of the article that Christine sent us about talking to new partners.
Yeah, I want to cover that. Mm-hmm.
I guess, okay.
No, go ahead. No, keep going.
I think for me, I have not just put it out there like in casual conversation. It's been more like once we're starting to have sex that I kind of introduce things, to be honest.
Yeah, same.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I kind of half and half. I think that there are times that I am gearing up, with somebody and we're like maybe on the phone or we're video chatting or we're just talking and maybe on a date and they'll bring up like, ooh, is there anything that, you really love? And I'll say things like, what are you talking about, kinky or fetishes? And they'll say, oh yeah, like I really love feet. I think feet are sexy. Or they'll say, I love to spank. How much do you like a dominant person? But then again, there's been times that it's brought up in the midst of having sex in lieu of before. I think that if you're extreme, you should bring it up before.
Yeah, I guess so. And again, I don't think any of mine are too extreme. I think after I've been intimate with someone the first couple of times, then definitely starting to talk about things which I really enjoy and ahead of time and asking about fantasies. But I would say I probably don't do it before then.
Personally, I think I'd rather them tell me their crazy shit before I decide to get involved, because if it's something that I'm really not interested in, like the sex with dogs or peeing in the mouth, I don't want that shit brought up in the midst of it. And they like, hey, Lassie's at the end of the bed. Are we cool to let them join? No,
that is so crazy, Christine. I just find that so insane. Yeah. Well, I mean, at least he put it out there. Were you guys already fooling around?
No, he just started talking. Yeah. He's like, oh, I love to know what your sexual fantasies are. Well, men and their fucking sexual fantasies. It's bizarre.
I mean, it's not a bad thing to discuss. I would say that would be really pushing it for me to talk about. But did you guys, but apparently it's more common than I think. Did you guys watch the Hulu special on Jared from Subway?
No.
So,
I heard about it, but I have not watched it. I have to watch it.
That was crazy. And some of the things that they revealed in the documentary did involve he and his business associate or agent or manager or something were into stuff with animals. And they uncovered all of these text messages where they were talking with women about it and in quite graphic detail. And I was absolutely shocked.
Yeah. I'll never forget. This was like 20, maybe 30 years ago. It had to be when I was in my 20s. I remember that there was something in the news about a guy who was into animals and he would go and he had sex with a horse and it pierced his insides and he died. And I will never forget that. And I was like, holy mother of pearl, are you kidding me?
No.
I can't fathom, but yeah, it exists for sure.
Yeah, well,
it's not right because I don't really think an animal can consent.
No, I don't think so either.
It's just not even okay.
It is no. Look, you've really got to be lonely. And there is something like Las Vegas has legal prostitution. Go to Vegas. There's a place called Mustang Ranch. Let's try it. I mean, for God's sake, leave the dog and the horse and the sheep the fuck alone. If you want to dress up like a dog or a horse and have sex, great. Do it. I think that's called something else. I don't furry something.
Well, on this test, it just had it as pet. And just by the way, so my lowest ones were master mistress, again, because I like to be dominated. I don't really want to dominate.
Want to be the mistress. Mm-hmm.
And then pet, sadist, daddy, mommy, because I want to be the other way.
Yeah, yeah.
Owner, degradee, and degrader. So yeah, they have it listed as pet.
I dated this guy one time. He was a porn star. I think I mentioned this before. And he would have in his porn that he was in, it was a lot of hot, gorgeous young girls. He said he never got off on it. He would envision an older woman and calling her mommy. And so when he started dating me, I was older than him. He was in his early 30s. I was in my late 40s, probably close to 50. Meow. And he would say to me, you know, calling me mommy. He'd have this whole fetish like, oh, am I a bad boy, mommy? And I was like, yep, you're really, really bad.
That's so funny.
I was like, I wasn't into it, but I would do it for him. And I just was like, oh, I don't know how well this is going to go.
I couldn't see you being into that at all. I mean, do you remember the whole Mama Christine issue?
Oh! So Anthony likes to call me Mama Christine, and I thought I was going to poop my pants. I was like, okay, I am old enough to be your mother, but for fuck's sake, don't call me Mama. You're a grown-ass man.
We were all hanging out a couple months ago. She had told me how much it really bugged her. And so as soon as he said it the first time, I was like, you know, I don't know about that, Anthony. I don't know about that as a nickname. And so
we're talking about Anthony.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Matchmaker Anthony.
I don't really see that. And so, you know, we all had a chuckle. And then we came up with her new nickname.
I don't even remember what it was.
That is funny.
Still fucking calls me Mama.
Instead
Mama
of
Christine.
it would be Cousin
Fuck.
Christine.
Look at your face. You're so annoyed right now.
I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I know I'm a grown-ass woman, but I don't want to be some grown-ass man standing in the middle of a party calling me Mama. I was like, oh my fuck. I love you, Anthony, but please don't call me Mama. Call me bitch. Call me. Come here, motherfucker. I don't care. But don't call me Mama. So there's this great website. Let me see what this. It's FEELD.
It's an app, girl.
Co.
Filled.
An app?
Yeah, I used to use it.
Okay,
Wait, what is it? Tell me again.
Filled. FEELD.
Field.
Yep. That's the app I was on last.
Yeah, it says, how can you start the conversation about your kinks? And if someone needs help starting, I'd like to read a part of this part of this conversation here so that it can maybe guide you. So there's a certified sexologist and author of a book called All the Fucking Mistakes, A Guide to Sex, Love, and Life by Gigi Engel. Gigi, I think it's a girl. She has some advice. She says an easy way is to suggest watching some kinkier porn with a partner. She goes on to say, I wouldn't recommend porn that is solely about that kink, but rather something that is incorporated in it. And say you want to try spanking or find some porn that includes and or watch with your partner that you can gauge their reaction to it. Talking about your kinks doesn't have to be uncomfortable or intimidating. In fact, there's even beginner classes out there. There's some online classes that you can explore from the comfort of and privacy of your home. It's called Anatomy Studios. It's ANATOMIE. Anatomy Studios. It's based out of London and it offers friendly and accessible online courses in bondage, women's erotic emporium, and it's got like 28 years of hosts of huge range of online classes that start for beginners and encourage questions and conversations. Classes can often be really disarming, this psychologist says. She said, you'll be surrounded by people who are in the same boat as you, who want to try something new for the first time. She also goes on to say that you could also try writing a sexual bucket list. You can each write down things that you're interested in. She said she'd recommend going away and doing this separately and then coming back together and go through them and talk about those things and whether they're your yes, no's, or maybe. Yep. And I think that's really smart. I think, especially if you're in a relationship and you want to try something, you don't just want to spring it on them. and, you know, bring out a ball gag in the middle of sex and say, here, let me stick this on you, or put it on me. And they'd be going, ooh, you know what I mean? They might lose that love and feeling at the moment. So I really think engaging in this kind of conversation, maybe not with strangers on your first fucking date.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes after sex, when people are still, you know, a bit aroused, it can be kind of fun to then kind of have sexy conversations about what you're each into.
She says that the only way to know if someone shares your same interests is to get it out in the open and talk about it. Think about how important this is to you. And if you do feel that it is preventing you from wanting to stay in this relationship with your partner, and you need to gauge how willing or unwilling they are to compromise and be part of it. 5 tips. Here's 5 tips for talking about kink with, like, say, a new partner. She says, don't be ashamed of your kinks. All are safe and conscientious sexual practices are equally valid. Some of these are kind of weird, so I'm going to skip them. Try the bucket list, like we talked about. Think about ways to compromise. Maybe if someone's not into spanking, maybe try like feathers. Or if someone's not into rope, maybe try ribbon. Like, we have ribbon. There's this really cool ribbon. If y'all haven't tried it, I highly recommend
ribbon
it.
a couple of times. Get into it.
You have mentioned ribbon quite a bit.
Yeah, so it's like 2 feet, 3 feet long is all. And you can connect it to your wrist, and then it slides over your leg, slides into the other end, and it cinches. So it opens up and it cinches tighter and bigger.
I think I know what you're talking about.
It went over my knee and connected around my thigh, and then it connected to my arm, so that when my leg went down, my arm went down, and when my leg rose, when I raised my arm, it would lift my leg. It is really fucking sexy. And there's different ways of using it. You can do it on both wrists, and it can be used. It's soft, it's gentle, it doesn't hurt, doesn't make you feel scared or intimidated like you could possibly be with a rope. Ribbon sexually, it's hot. You can get it at a sex store or buy it online if you're intimidated to go into a sex store. Though I highly recommend going into a sex store. Maybe try going with a friend if you're too scared, or go by yourself. But eventually go with your partner. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe joke and laugh about all the different stuff. Butt plugs are the best. If you haven't tried them, you should
never
try them. Oh, you should try that, Jaida.
It's been something that my partner and I have been playing with a lot lately, and it's fun, both as a giver and receiver.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It can add a little bit of heightened feeling during sex, which is great. Highly recommend it, Jaida.
Okay.
We're super excited to eventually get a swing. They're quite pricey, so we haven't gotten one yet. And we don't really
have a certain types of ceiling to mount it with.
We have to have a place for it, and we don't really have that. And we have teenagers, so that shit might have to wait.
I was just gonna say.
Can you imagine putting up a stripper pole and a sex swing in the bedroom and going, "Hey, kiddos, how's it going?
Why don't you come in here and do your homework?"
Yeah, I'm just practicing my dancing. Reading up on different kind of kinks is fun. Maybe read up on them together. I do love the idea of making lists that maybe might excite you, just to gauge how your partner is, into it or not into it. Also, there is a website for people who are maybe a little intimidated, a little scared, and maybe want to check into it first. It's called FetLife.
Yep.
FetLife. FetLife. It's great because you can go on anonymously. You don't have to put pictures. And if you do, it doesn't have to be with your face. Maybe see how you feel about showing body parts that no one knows who you are. You come up with your own name and people reach out to you. You can look at other people's things and see what excites you, because a lot of people do some really crazy stuff, like ball gag, and they're spanking them and they're pulling their hair back and their mascara is running down their face. And some people are into that. And maybe you are too, but you don't know because you haven't checked it out. Fet life can be fun. It can be an anonymous. You can talk to people. You can have conversations by, like Messenger on the site. Nobody knows who you are unless you want them to. You can keep it on the site. You can take it off the site. Maybe you want to experiment with somebody and there's somebody who's experienced that wants to get together with you and teach you a few things. That can be fun too. I've done that. And that's where I found my daddy.
Yeah. Oh,
my daddy Dom.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, I've been on FetLife before as well. Field is good because it's, it's meant to attract open-minded people. So there's lots of swingers, there's some poly, and then there's some people too who are quite open about their kinks. It's not as involved as FetLife. It's a normal, swiping app, but I would recommend that as well. They've got a great reputation, and I really enjoyed using it.
I haven't been on FetLife in, oh my God, at least 3 or so years. I mean, I think when COVID hit, I kind of lost interest because I was so busy,
I don't have time. That's why I don't do it as well.
Yeah, I haven't had time. And then now, I've got my boyfriend and he's not really, into that, which is fine. And I don't, it's not I enjoy kinks and fetishes. If somebody else has them, I don't mind trying them as long as they don't cross my hard line of boundaries. You can spank me, you just can't hurt me.
Oh, and see, one of the questions on the test was if you like to see marks after or a visible proof of it, and I'm all about the bruises. And yep.
You know how a guy grabs you here and holds you down by here? Yes. I love seeing the bruises on my bicep later. I see them and I'm going, ooh. That gets me. Seeing the bruise on my thigh. I'm talking about spanking so hard that I am in pain, that you're whooping my ass. I don't want to be beat like a child. I don't mind a little bit of little sting, and then gently smooth it, like redness. I don't mind that. I also don't mind, choking, but where I can't breathe, that's where I draw the line. If you see me gasp, stop. If you see my eyes bugging, stop.
It's reasonable.
But adding those little bits of, what's funny is that the first time, my boyfriend might kill me on this, but the first time that we got back together, for some reason we were together and we were having sex, and for some reason I just reached up and grabbed him by the neck, and we kept going. And then later he said, when you grabbed me like that, that was so fucking hot. So once in a while I'll grab him and, kind of give a little bit of a pressure squeeze, and I can tell it gets him, and that's great. And he also does that to me. I think the hard part for me with that is when you're with a new partner, you don't know if they're going to stop or if they're a serial killer.
Well, that's why consent is so important.
Yeah. Do y'all have safe words?
I mean, in the past I have. In my current relationship, I haven't. We did. Oh, yeah. Actually, when we were playing with the paddle a month or so ago, we did come up with the word. I actually don't remember what it was, but yeah.
You have to remember it to use it, Janice.
It's not like one that we use regularly.
What about you, Jaida?
No. Mm-mm.
Do you remember when I won't say his name, but do you remember when I was dating somebody from our dating industry group
Yes.
And he was like yanking my chain all over the place, and he was being kind of a douchebag. And then all of a sudden in public, he started getting like weirdly, wildly crazy. And I was like, first of all, I don't mind public display, but when there's little children there and you're grabbing my boobs and my butt and shoving me against a car and sticking your tongue down my mouth and then saying really loud, the safe word is yellow. I just start yelling, yellow, 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 yellow.
Oh, that was such a crazy situation, girl.
And he's in the dating and sex industry. So it's hilarious that he just was, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, but also that just the communication wasn't there and just everything, all the ways that it went down. That
he talks about communication, but he never was very good at it. So yeah, that was nuts. So we've got about little less than 5 minutes left. Anything that you guys want to suggest or talk about as far as like suggestions for, helping someone understand what they want or even to explore?
Oh, I actually think that this test was good.
Yeah.
I don't know, I did the long version. So I personally think if you're not really sure, something like this may be a good tool. There are lots of checklists online as far as, green, yellow, red, and things that you may want to try. So if you're looking for yourself, definitely. And also I do think that finding porn that you enjoy can give you a clue. And as far as talking to your partner, ask them what kind of porn they like. Even if you don't watch together, I think it can be a good way to open up the conversation. I think I've shared before that I asked my boyfriend that in like the first week that we were dating or something, and he thought it was the hottest question. Yeah, I do suggest throwing that out there.
I love that. What about you, Jaida?
Yeah, I think this quiz is the best way to introduce it because it gives you insight. It's a low-key way of being like, hey, let's take this quiz. And then you can kind of see what they like. They can see what you like. I think that gets the conversation started. This was a really good quiz. I think this is a good one.
Yeah.
I found the other one that I had suggested to you guys. It tells you what percentage kinky and what percentage vanilla you are in bed. And it's on BuzzFeed.com, and it's just a kinky test. And it literally told me I was 50% kinky and 50% vanilla. And I was like, okay, that was useful. I know.
I got 64 kinky, 36 vanilla.
Oh.
I was 50-50. I was the same as you, Christine.
Yeah. So I don't like all that hardcore weird shit. I just like,
like the scat and the pee.
Yeah. Leave the animals out of it. Don't call me mommy. Don't make me act like a little girl. Don't, kill me like a serial killer, but
it's fair.
Dominate me. Use fun toys, shit like that. That's fun. But again, discussing it with your partner is key. I think it's the number one key. Absolutely.
Yeah. And also it's such good foreplay too.
Oh my God. Talking about sex with your partner is hot AF. It just is hot. If someone doesn't talk about sex with let's talk about sex, baby. If they're not talking about sex, you just don't understand how incredibly stimulating it can be. Because women are visual and mental, and words are important, and those type of things can really just set a woman off. And if you're a guy listening to this, talk to your woman about sex in a sexy way, not like, what are you wearing today, baby? Because that shit's bullshit. So We are just got 10 seconds left. I just want to say, Jaida, thank you as always. You're beautiful. I'm so excited you're always here. Janice, I fucking love that you were here today. This was the best episode for you. And all the people who come to listen, all our listeners, thank you for coming and listening to our show. We hope you come back next week, same time, same place. And until then, let's keep it real.
Bye.
Kinky real.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends, like and follow us on Instagram at 50 Shades of _bullshit and Facebook at 50 Shades of Bullshit. Thanks so much for listening, and we really hope to see you again next week.